Caitlin Clark bracing for tough situation after return from injury. There was a lot of anticipation leading up to Saturday's showdown between the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty. This is after the Fever announced that Caitlin Clark was set to return after a 5-game injury absence in Indiana's home matchup against the defending champs. Clark proved on Saturday that she lives for the big moments. With the spotlights all over her, the 23-year-old turned in her best performance of the campaign. Clark dropped the season-high 32 points on 11 of 20 shooting, while also knocking down 7 triples on the evening. The reigning WNBA Rookie of the Year also registered 8 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and a block, as she led the Fever to a massive 102-88 victory against a previously undefeated Liberty side. After the game, Clark spoke openly about how good her body felt during the game. Clearly, the quad injury that kept her out for the past 3 weeks was a non-issue against New York. "My legs felt really strong. I felt in good shape," Clark said, via Michael Vopel of ESPN. "A lot of that is credit to our medical team. They have kept me in shape. Now for me, it's just how I recover, especially with the schedule that we have coming up." Clark revealed that she is currently still on the road to full recovery after missing an extended period. The next couple of weeks will be a tough stretch for Indiana as they play 6 games in the span of 11 days. Clark and the Fever's medical team will use the next 2 days to make sure that Clark is able to recover well ahead of their next game, which is on Tuesday against the Connecticut Sun. After all, Clark will still need to shake off some of that rust and get her conditioning back up to 100% following a lengthy spell on the sidelines. This is despite the fact that her performance on Saturday night seems to indicate otherwise. The lights were still bright. The cameras still clicked with relentless urgency. The arena buzzed with the kind of anticipation reserved for game changers. But this time, as Caitlin Clark jogged back onto the hardwood, something was different. She had returned, but not without scars, both visible and hidden. The rookie sensation who had stormed onto the WNBA scene with a trail of college records and an army of fans now faced a new challenge, not just of the body, but of the mind, the locker room, and the league. Caitlin's injury, a sprained ankle that benched her for a week, was minor on paper, yet monumental in timing. The Indiana Fever, a franchise in the middle of a reset, had just begun building chemistry. And with Clark sidelined, the dynamics had shifted subtly yet noticeably. In her absence, the team found a surprising rhythm. Veterans stepped up, bench players sparkled, and suddenly, a question floated in the air like an unspoken ghost. Was the team better without her ball dominance? Now, back in uniform, Clark wasn't just returning to her starting role. She was stepping into a locker room full of shifting glances, political undertones, and unspoken expectations. The rookie with generational talent was also a symbol, and symbols, especially in the WNBA, carry weight beyond the box score. She had felt it in the warm-ups. The high fives were polite. The cheers were loud, but generic. Gone was the raw, electrified welcome she was used to. This time, her teammates clapped, but their eyes asked questions. Would she pass more? Would she play defense harder? Would she blend? Or would she lead like before? Clark had always led by example, with relentless energy, dagger threes, and impossible court vision. But this was no longer Iowa. The WNBA was a different beast, where egos were veteran-hardened, and every possession came with stakes. And now, Caitlin needed to not just return physically, she had to reintegrate politically. Coach Christy Sides gave her a knowing pat on the back before tip-off. It was brief, but full of meaning. "We're glad you're back. Don't overdo it, but also don't disappear." As the game began, Clark was tentative. Her first few passes were safe. No logo threes, not tonight. She was feeling out the flow, not trying to dominate it, but even restraint came with criticism. One possession into the second quarter, a missed layup from a teammate after a slick dish from Clark led to a timeout and a glare. "You've got the shot, take it," murmured one veteran under her breath. It was subtle, but Caitlin felt it. She was trapped in a paradox. Lead too boldly, and she's selfish. Blend too much, and she's passive. Midway through the third quarter, the crowd erupted. Clark, finally fed up with the hesitation, pulled up from 30 feet in transition, splash. Then came a signature behind the back pass for an easy layup. The bench stood up. The arena shook. The spark was back, but the bench. Only a few clapped, and while the fans cheered for the return of their hero, Clark knew this wasn't just about buckets anymore.